Hi everyone, it is Sunday, it is the 23rd of August, and thanks for being here, and thanks to my 16 subscribers. You have no idea how much that means to me. I think I have 16 videos, so I have one subscriber for every day, and it means the world to me, in all honesty. So thank you. Today we're going to talk about food banks in Massachusetts, unemployment in Massachusetts, we're going to talk about restaurants, and we're going to talk about the overall economy as I see it. So it's just economic observations from my eyes, and thank you so much for being here. So, first things first, Massachusetts was one of the first hardest hit states when the coronavirus came to America. You had New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. We took a really hard line stand on shutting down and following CDC recommendations. So when all those things were peaking up here, we made sure we flattened the curve, and we did. I think since mid-June we've been down, hovering under 2%, which is where you want to be. And then everything opened up. It was June, it was lovely, the weather was good, there was outdoor dining, the days were long, and hopefully you would see some economic activity. However, we didn't see that much economic activity. We still are the highest in unemployment in the nation. June and July, we were at 17.7% in June, and I think we're at 16.4% for July. I think it's like 450,000 jobs have just vanished from Massachusetts, a lot of them in the hospitality sector, but many in the retail sector, many in tourism. It's been all around. We also have a pact with the Northeast, so we require people who come and visit from outside of, I think it's outside New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. We can travel freely within all those states without quarantining, but if you come from outside of any of those states, you have to quarantine for 14 days. And they're trying to keep a handle on our infection rate and try and keep it low. So since June, since everything opened, and when I say everything, I don't mean everything, like movie theaters aren't open yet, and stadiums and venues and conferences and all that, those are not open yet. And we did go to 50 people indoor dining, and we went back down to 25 because we saw some bubbles increase, but then they decreased. We test an awful lot. Massachusetts has higher education. We're known for our medical, and we're also known for pharmaceutical and some tech. I mean, even Google has an office in Cambridge. And for those of you that didn't know, Massachusetts also has the highest unemployment payout in the country. So for someone earning, losing a good job, making $80,000 a year or more, your payout, your weekly payout is over $900 a week. And then you got the $600 boost to that, making you, getting $1,500 a week. So for those that are earning a higher income, the payout is much greater in Massachusetts than in any other state. And when I say any other state, it is by a wide margin. It's like 40% more than the next state. And then you get additional money per child that you have too. So we pay more into the unemployment system. Our unemployment numbers are really usually solid. State employs a lot of people, cities, pharmaceutical, tech, like I said before. And those are really good paying jobs. You have all the university professors, you have doctors at all our hospitals, and Massachusetts has some really good, strong industries. But all those that are funded by the state now, they're gonna be hurting. It's very expensive to live in Massachusetts. Our tax rate is high, real estate is high, rents are really high in Boston, and people don't usually think of Boston being expensive, but it's really expensive to live here. A one-bedroom apartment in Boston could run you over $3,000. There was a ad that says, you need first, last, the month of security. It was like $10,000 to move into an apartment in Boston. $10,000. So it's quite costly. I did hear something on WBUR that the rents have come down maybe 10% when this whole pandemic began, but the building is still going on like crazy. And a lot of it's students. A lot of it is is universities. We have a lot of schools in Boston, or in the Boston area, a lot of schools. And this year, a lot of them are not housing students, so a lot of them are, apartments are vacant. So the losses of jobs has been, so the biggest sectors hit, mostly retail, restaurants, tourism. The biggest thing with restaurants is that they're only allowed 25% indoors, and many of them have converted parking lots or streets into seating. And it was fine when they initially opened in June and July and August and even parts of September. But once you hit October, it gets considerably colder, especially in the evening, and the weather changes. I mean, there might be a few good days, but it's not going to be consistently good weather. And without the outdoor dining, I don't think these restaurants could survive. Well, I had an inclination. So today I went out on the road and I spoke to a few restaurant owners, and they all told me the same thing. Okay, so as it turns out, she didn't want to talk on camera, but what she told me is if it stays like this at 25%, there's no way they can stay in business. I spoke to the manager of the restaurant. They do have a loyal following, which they're grateful for, and they do get some takeout. And the takeout has saved them quite a bit, but still, it's just unsustainable, she said. They're making it work for now, but it can't work like this forever. Another problem is food insecurity. Massachusetts has the highest unemployment rate, as I stated before. People don't have enough food. Apparently, down in Cape Cod, 20% of the county's residents in the Upper Cape were in line for a food bank every Saturday morning. And it has grown to 20% of the population now, like 26,000 people. So when you have these lines of people not having enough food to eat, and what's going to happen to these people? What's going to happen to, in Massachusetts too, we have the town of Amherst, which is home to 4 universities. University of Massachusetts at Amherst being the largest one, usually with graduate and undergraduate students, probably a population of about 20,000 people. And this year they went online, fully online, except for those who have labs and those that are international students who had nowhere else to go. So I think they're housing about 1,300. And then you have some people who rented houses and apartments in the town that are there, but everything is pretty much remote. And they shut it down like 2 weeks before kids were going to move in. And they did it at the request of the town. The town said, we don't want you here. So here is a town that their livelihood depends on the school, and yet they're so concerned with COVID that they said, please have them stay home. And we all know college kids, they're not gonna, you see it on TV, you see them at football games, you see them at, fraternities and parties and sororities and just gathering and in droves, and the cases are going up. And I understand that the economy is in a lot of trouble, but I don't think we're going to get the economy underway until we have the virus in check and people behave better. And without people doing that, I don't know how we're going to see a recovery. They're all concerned about spikes in the fall, and quite honestly, it's going to happen. If all these schools are opening up and we're not listening to science, I feel like the economy is going to go further inward. And you can say open up, but if you don't have the infection in check and hospitalizations start going up again, what is the outcome to this? Behavior will allow us and enable us to have a stronger economy. And without people's behaviors in check, it's never going to recover. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse. They're talking about banks being insolvent. They're giving out money that they don't even have, and they're just borrowing it, and interest rates are so low, but at what cost? Taking on more debt does not make your solvency any better. But that's the way banks make money, right? They make money by lending it. Even if they don't have it, they lend it. But if we went now to take money out of the bank, our money wouldn't even be there. So this is a big problem, and it all has to do with getting this under control. And Although we have it under control in Massachusetts, so for the most part, the economy is still sputtering because I think the rest of the country doesn't have it under control. And I think as a whole, if the country did a better job in a united front, the economy would be better in the country. I mean, let's look at Las Vegas. Las Vegas is number 3 for unemployment. And I don't see Las Vegas turning around anytime soon. I mean, I don't know where this is all going, but it's not good. Anyway, on a lighter note, there's another article here. Finally, some good news. It says, an asteroid is heading our way on the eve of the presidential election. That's right, on November 2nd, a celestial rock, dubbed 2018 VP1, is hitting the Earth, but it's less than 1% chance. And even if it did, it's only the size of a horse. Anyway, thought I'd entertain you with that. Like my rhino in the back? Tanzanian art. Isn't it beautiful? Anyway, we sell stuff like that to raise money for our school. Just thought I'd share that. Thanks for watching, and talk to you soon. Everywhere.